The envelope felt like a brick in my hands, a simple, unassuming piece of paper that held the power to destroy my life. Seriously? A 50% rent increase, effective immediately? My heart hammered against my ribs, a panicked drum solo echoing in the quiet of my little apartment. I'd lived here for 7 years. 7 years of paying rent on the first of every month. Never a late fee. Never a complaint. Just quiet, reliable tenancy. And this was my reward? I ran a hand through my hair, feeling the cold sweat on my brow. My gut twisted with a sick dread that tightened like a knot. How could she even justify it? I reread the notice, my eyes scanning the boilerplate text, searching for a single reason, a single word of explanation. But there was nothing, just the cold, hard number, a 50% spike. What in the world? My landlord, Ms. Davenport, or as the tenants had privately nicknamed her, Karen, had a reputation that preceded her. But this was a new level of audacity, a bold, greedy move I couldn't wrap my mind around. The memory of her sneering face, a crimson flush of self-righteousness always coloring her cheeks, flashed in my mind. She'd always found some petty complaint to nitpick, whether it was the way my recycling was stacked or the quiet music I played on a Saturday afternoon. But I'd always just taken it, trying to be the bigger person. But this was different. This was war. I remember staring out the window at the old oak tree in the courtyard, its branches swaying gently in the breeze. The squeak of the floorboards beneath my feet was a familiar sound, a tired sigh that had become part of the apartment's character. Everything here felt like home, from the sun-faded patch on the rug where I'd always put my coffee table to the way the afternoon light hit the peeling paint on the windowsill. How was I supposed to just give all that up? The thought alone was a physical ache in my chest. I couldn't afford to move, not with the astronomical security deposits and first and last month's rent everywhere else. I spent the next 3 days in a fog of despair, the scent of stale coffee and anxiety filling the air. I looked online, desperate for a solution, a loophole, anything, but the law was on her side. A landlord can raise rent, and if you can't pay, well, that's just tough luck, isn't it? I'd nearly accepted my fate, the cold, hard reality of it all, when a voice from an old memory, my grandmother's gentle whisper, came to me. Never give up a fight when you know you're right, sweet pea. Sometimes the universe just needs a little nudge. That's when the doorbell rang. It was my aunt, holding a box of my grandmother's things. Grandma had passed away 6 months ago, and we were still sorting through her belongings. Inside, nestled beneath old photo albums and a stack of knitting patterns, was a worn leather-bound folder. It was a file detailing all of her investments, including one I'd never heard of, an old, dusty stock certificate for something called the Elmwood Property Holding Company. My aunt shrugged, saying she didn't know what it was for, but Grandma always said it was her rainy day fund. A quick Google search revealed the truth, a truth so stunning it made my head spin. My apartment building, and every other building on the street, was owned by this holding company, and my grandmother, bless her brilliant, secret of heart, owned a majority stake. Can you believe it? The woman who complained about my quiet jazz music, who demanded I trim the bushes in the communal garden myself, was paying rent to a company my grandma's rainy day fund owned. Felt like something out of a movie. A slow, mischievous smile spread across my face. I had a plan, and it was going to be sweet. I spent the next 2 weeks meeting with lawyers, transferring the deed, and securing full control of the property. The paperwork was a blur of legal jargon and endless signatures, but I didn't care. I was a woman on a mission, fueled by the memory of every petty complaint and every sneering glance from Ms. Davenport. The day came for my official reveal. I had scheduled a meeting with her under the pretense of discussing the rent increase, telling her I had a new proposal. She arrived in her usual self-important strut, her blazer a sharp, unforgiving shade of fuchsia. Well? She demanded, her voice cutting through the air like a shard of glass. I assume you're here to beg? I told you, no exceptions. I watched her, this woman who had tormented me, a flicker of something close to pity in my heart. But it was quickly overshadowed by the fiery resolve that had been building inside me. I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. I slowly slid the newly signed deed across the polished table, the official seal a stark contrast to the cheap coffee stain next to it. Actually, Ms. Davenport, I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. I'm here to accept your new rent, and to give you this. It seems the owner of the building wants to make a few changes. Her eyes widened as she read the top line of the deed, her mouth falling open in a silent, horrified gasp. The color drained from her face, leaving her a ghastly white. No, that's impossible. She stammered, her voice a thin, reedy whisper. She looked at me, then at the deed, then back at me, her brain seemingly unable to process the information. You can't do this, she shrieked, her voice rising in a panicked crescendo. I own this place. This is my home. My smile was genuine now, a wave of pure, unadulterated satisfaction washing over me. Not anymore, I said, a soft finality in my tone. I'm the new landlord, and effective in 30 days. You're evicted. The words hung in the air like a death knell. She swayed on her feet, clutching the table for support, her eyes rolling back in her head as she crumpled to the floor with a heavy thud, a perfectly deserved and truly epic karmic collapse. I watched her, not with triumph, but with a quiet sense of justice fulfilled. This wasn't about revenge. It was about the simple, undeniable truth that greed often ends up consuming the one who wields it. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the universe truly does deliver when you least expect it, proving that the best kind of karma is the kind you get to serve yourself.